So, a lot of people have asked me to shoot a honing video for a while. I'm going to take this Mora knife that's been driven through cans and stuff, and we use it in the kitchen mostly. But, so I'm going to sharpen it and see if it's a video worth making. Now, first, to find the angle, you set it on its flat, and you push it onto the blade, road, flat, whatever, and then you just start honing. Not a lot of pressure. Just a little bit. This is a DMT 220 stone that I'm using. And you're trying to get it to pop a uniform burr across the other side. Don't know if you can see any of this, blah blah blah. We're not there yet. I set the blade on my thumb and I memorize exactly where that is to keep a more or less constant edge angle, and then I just set my thumbs on the stone. Doesn't really hurt your thumbs in any way, and it gives you a pretty consistent angle as long as you put it back in the same spot, or more or less the same spot every time. I've got a really good burr down here. Not as good a burr up through the point, but the point area you usually have to change the angle a little bit to work on it. Anyway, have to raise the butt of the knife just a little bit. And, oh, that looks like a much better little edge angle there. Oh, what a huge burr. Alright, good deal. Now we can switch to the other side. And I'm going to put a little more water on my stone. Stone, hone, whatever. It's not made of rock, but whatever. It works. We got to a nice, decently flat edge angle on this one pretty quick. And we popped the burr really, really fast on that. So, I'm going to take a couple of strokes to remove this very thick burr on this same stone, and then we're going to graduate to the next stone. It looks like I'm doing a pretty decent job. It's getting finer there, but alright. Oh, it's a heavy piece of metal. This is the DMT 1200 non-continuous surface, obviously, with the little holes in it. Stone. I've had it for like a decade, so it's probably actually considerably finer than 1200, but what can you do? There's got to be a few diamonds left in there. It still works a little. Then I grab it in pretty much the same place. That's the idea, anyway. Do the same thing until you pop a mild burr on the other side. I don't know if you can see in the video or not, but the water that you put on it is taking on a slight gray tone to it as the steel slurry is mixed in there. And that means you're removing metal. And you'll also see the edge gets a little shinier as the scratches get closer and closer together. And I got a burr up there. Oh. Yeah, there's a good burr through there. It's a little... Down here in this area, it's a little... it's not there yet. So we're just going to work on that area specifically for a second. feels pretty good. Sock guts on my hone. I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. Not a lot of pressure. You don't want to rip the diamonds out of the nickel plating. I've done it a lot, actually, but you really don't want to do that too much. A light pressure usually does the trick. Ooh. Pretty sharp. I can still feel the burr up there, but it's you can feel that the serrations are kind of a ways away, apart from each other, so they're still left over from the 220 stone. Okay, now I'm going to do a few strokes on each side. And I'll say maybe 10. I'm not really counting since I'm having to talk through this. But that's the rough idea. And then when we get to that point, since I don't take my pocket knives beyond the 1200 grit stone, this is where I would stop if this wasn't a kitchen or woodcrafting knife, and it's kind of both in this household, so we actually are going to go beyond this stone. But anyway, ooh, that's pleasant. Still got a few more minutes left, so this is the Norton 4000 8000 grit water hone, and it was soaking in water, so I'm hoping that there's enough that this won't just completely drink all of my water as soon as I put it on. We're about to find out. Yeah, it'll work. Alright, and then we're just going to alternate strokes on it for a few strokes, just like we did at the end of the last step. You see this arc of black. That's the metal coming off. You don't want to use much pressure at this stage. For one thing, the stone is fairly expensive, and every time you re-hone with it, whoa! See? That's what happens when you don't have enough fluid on the stone. But that's why you have to fix it every time. You have to reflatten every time you use one of these stones. And they're fairly expensive, so you really don't want to put much pressure on there at all. Especially since I mostly use it for shaving razors. And I got a lot of those, and I got a lot I'm supposed to hone. So, we'll see. It is feeling pretty nice. Pretty nice. Use this pink eraser to kind of draw and take out some of the burr if there is any. You see it's biting into it quite a lot. It does feel pretty good. Probably good enough to switch over to the 8. And wow, there's a lot of water collected there, so I'm going to have to splash on. I'm going to use a stropping motion on this. And very little pressure. Almost none, in fact. And I don't have any paper to test with. It's kind of annoying. Let me go see if I can find some paper.